Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
Where's up?
Not much, man. It's Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B, man. I like that Texans hat.
You mean Rangers?
Oh, I call it Texans, down Rangers.
Same thing. They the same thing.
Nah, actually not the Rangers.
No, it's the same thing.
I see you, man. You try to blow up the spot, man. You tried to uplift me a little bit, but nah,
nah, man. We've been going for a little minute. You know what I mean? Took a little bit. Had to recharge the batteries a little bit. So, but what's good, man?
Nothing, man. It's been strange. You know, you got that dead period to where football is over. It's too early to like figure out like what all the teams are doing. So then you just get back into basketball and you try to get into college basketball and you start to get there, but then you realizing like it's not. Well, it's going to be a baseball season. We just don't know when it's going to be a baseball season.
Yeah, I do think eventually somebody's gonna budge. Right now, I think more of the owners are being more stubborn. The thing is that the owners, honestly, they never lose, yo. They the owners they ain't gonna go broke. You know what I'm saying? If they could make it through the pandemic, then I think they can make it through whatever. I mean, so that whole situation is weird. They're not gonna have opening day, or I guess the opening series they're not gonna have, right? Or opening two series. You know, things can change. I wouldn't be surprised if they did have if everything went on as normal, they come up with some sort of agreement by next week. That's the hope, but.
So I don't think so. I want to tell you why. So right now, they could potentially shut down 20 games and still get all the TV money. So the owners, that gives the owners a lot of leverage, right? Because right now they can wait out the union until they get like desperate. So I think right around that 20 game march, which I mean, like if you think about it, in April, nobody's really paying attention to baseball yet.
Not really.
So those games, I don't want to say that they don't count for anything, but nobody is like going to be hurt if we have a 144 game season opposed to a 162 or 160 for a season. So I think the strategy is right now they don't have to budge. They don't have to give in to anything. Wait out the players and then go from there. If you look at what both sides are, I guess, in dispute of, it's not even really that big of a difference.
Right.
They're a lot closer to like each other than I think most people realize. And I get the players' angle, right? You know, one of the main things is they want to get more money for the players that are not really the all-stars, you know, some of the mid-level talent and a lower level talent. And they want to secure a little bit more guaranteed money. So I get that. The owner stance, I really just don't understand, other than them being cheap and really just not adhering to the players. I just don't really feel where they're coming from.
I think it's more of an ego thing.
Right.
It's just, I mean, because so I agree. They're definitely not far off from each other. And I if I'm not mistaken, I think they almost had a deal, but Scott Boras was like, "Don't take the deal." And it's like, come on, man. But I get it because he probably has the most the most players in the league as an agent. So he was like, don't get screwed over, you know, but because more than likely the owners were given an offer that it benefits them and not both sides.
Right. So let me ask you this, right? So
Mhm.
the average person, you look at what they're arguing about, and you say, okay, it's not that much. Who looks worse in the situation, the players or the owner?
I
The
think it's the
owner.
owners.
Okay.
I think I think it's the owners.
Because I don't know, maybe it's me, but when I saw the press conference of the commissioner, it
Mhm.
just looked like they were painting the players in such a negative light for them
Absolutely.
trying to secure more money for the lower paid players. I'm just like, well,
Mhm.
that's not that much. And if you look at it, and I forget the numbers, it's like they're trying to get to like 720,000, and it may be at like 685,000 or something, just something crazy like that. To where
Right.
you okay, I'm sure that adds up when you equate all the different roster spots
Mhm.
that they have to pay. But you look at how much they're able to get from TV revenue, how much they're able to get from just attendance at the games. It's like, man, go ahead and pay that.
I mean, you would think, but man, these owners are greedy. At the end of the day, it's greed, and so that's why we are where we are right now.
So something else that stood out, and we can get to some other subjects. 'Cause I know we got a lot to cover. Is one thing they were requesting is they want better marketing of their stars, which I think me and you've talked about this before. Baseball does a horrible job of
Absolutely
marketing their young talent.
right. No, I mean, yeah, they're probably the worst out of the major sports. I mean, e- I think I could count on one hand how many commercials I see with baseball players, let alone the stars. Like you should honestly, you should see somebody like Mike Trout on every other commercial. He should be on it on honestly, he should be on like the State Farm commercials with some of the basketball players. Who else is a star that you have
But let's start. You got
Otani,
Mookie Betts, but
Mookie Betts.
yeah, but let's stop at Mike Trout. Right, Mike
Yeah.
Trout is arguably could be
The
and
greatest.
yeah, the greatest ever player. And that's I know it's debatable. People feel a certain way, but there's people out there that will argue that Mike Trout is the greatest baseball player to ever play, and I can't say that I wouldn't hear the argument. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
think it's a legitimate argument, and I can't recall a commercial I've ever seen him in.
Yeah, I would have to like that's something I would have to do some research on because yeah, you don't see too many baseball guys in the commercials. And if it is a commercial, it may be like a sports center commercial or something like that. You would have seen them in that, but I mean you don't
You're
see them
watching the baseball game. If you're watching the baseball game, you'll
if you're
see
watching the
them.
baseball game. Yeah.
Yeah, certain commercials, or if you go to the ballpark, you'll see them in maybe some local advertisements. But
Hmm.
as far as one of them having like the State Farm commercials with Aaron Rodgers or Chris Paul
Right.
have made them household names to people that don't watch the sport because those are recognizable commercials.
Yep.
And it's got to be one funny guy in baseball that has some bit of personality where
I'm sure there's a ton. I'm sure there's a ton.
Right.
But it's like Major League Baseball is running this thing like the Patriot way. Like you can't have fun. And it's weird that you say it because I don't see it. Even like during the season, like so for instance, like you'll see more Aaron Rodgers State Farm commercials like on during the season, right? And you may see some here and there off season, but during the season you're gonna see a ton. But you'll still see something about Aaron Rodgers or even Patrick Mahomes or somebody like that. Dak, you'll see him in the yogurt commercials, but you don't really see that baseball, and that's I mean they have to fix that. I mean the visibility is and that's partly why it's not the number one sport.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, let's go there. All right, so we're in football off season. We don't know if he's going to be traded, if he's going to sign a short-term deal, or he's going to retire. So let me ask you this, right? We all know that him and Brett Favre had some sort of relationship. Yeah, Brett Favre was the starting quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, was his ultimate replacement. Who is pettier, Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers is pettier, man. And Aaron Rodgers is I mean, and I wonder if he's always been this petty. Cause man, the last 2-3 years, whoo-wee. Like it's like, man, he's like a grumpy old man now. It's just like he always seems like something's wrong, or like he always got an attitude. But yeah, he's way pettier than Brett Favre. Brett Favre just didn't know if he wanted to stay or go or not. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers is super petty, yo.
Well, I think most people would agree that Brett Favre just did was short train account.
Right. He was like, man.
Brett Favre was the king of finessing himself out of trade account.
And I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's like Aaron Rodgers is like, all right, I'm just going to take all the records in Green Bay. Like I'm going to definitely shatter all the NFL records, but I'm going to one up you. I'm going to be more pettier than you going out the door.
It's crazy, yo. So my question to you is: does he stay or does he go?
All right. So from all reports, and again, we're not NFL GMs. It doesn't seem to be a big market for Aaron Rodgers. I personally do not see a situation that he's going to get traded to that's going to be better than his current situation. I personally think he stays. He's just going to make it hell for the Packers. You know what I mean? Like he's going to come with some other demands, and he's going to make it as comfortable as he can make it. And he's going to press the envelope without actually saying what he wants. So he plays a lot of games with the press, with people, not actually coming out and saying like, hey, I want to be traded, or this is an issue. It's always kind of like a guessing game with him. So I think he does stay, but I see some more stipulations along the way.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Davante Adams and himself, they stay and they add another piece and go about trying, I guess, running it back again. But
that's a huge component. But back up, you're making a great point, right?
Right.
If you're Aaron Rodgers, where else are you going to find a Davante Adams? I mean, there's a lot of good receivers out there, but he has something special with Davante Adams.
Yeah. So with that, I don't think you get another Davante Adams, but he could go to teams with better receiving cores. You see what I'm saying? Like the Steelers and the Broncos probably have better receiving cores than the Packers. I think most people would take the Broncos. I mean, of course, you got Devontae Adams. He's the ultimate equalizer. The problem is, like we just saw in the playoffs, Devontae Adams could be triple teamed and he's still going to try and force it to him, because I'm not going to say he doesn't trust the other guys, but he don't got confidence in them like he does Adams. So I feel like you may not get another Devontae Adams, but you may get 4 guys that are, A minuses, B pluses. You see what I'm saying?
So let's back up. You brought up the Broncos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good comparable, realistic situation that we could all see that happening. Do you really leave the Packers for the Broncos?
I don't see why not. Broncos got a better defense. The Broncos pretty much have everything. He could be walking into, like with the Broncos, he could be walking into potentially what Tom Brady walked into with the Bucs. And I mean, if you think about that, because here's the thing, you got guys that are ascending. Like, I'm not saying that Aaron Jones is descending, but you got somebody like Javonte Williams, and you still have Melvin. I don't know. They'll probably still have Melvin Gordon, but Javonte Williams would be the number one guy. I mean, he looked good in his rookie season. I mean, then you got those receivers, and you still got a tight end in Denver. I mean, and the coach is your boy, somebody that's coached you the last few years. So I could definitely see Denver before anybody else if he leaves.
All right, one last question. What would be the asking price that if you were a GM that you would give up to get Aaron Rodgers? What does he go for?
So here's the thing. You look at some of how many draft picks did the Rams give the Lions for Matt Stafford? Like 3 first rounders, right?
I mean, they went in. I don't recall how many it was, but I know they.
So I'll say this. Whatever the Lions got for Matt Stafford, add another pick, add another 2 picks. Now, I'm not saying necessarily 2 first round picks, but add another 2. So if he went for 3 first round picks, the Packers are going to ask for 4 first rounders and maybe a 3rd or a 4th, plus a player, plus like a Drew Lock.
Does that make them Super Bowl contenders?
Who, the Broncos?
Yeah, if they were to go all in with that.
They absolutely. To get Aaron Rodgers now, I know you got Justin Herbert and you got Patrick Mahomes, but I don't think he cared about that.
No, I don't think he cares either, but okay.
The Broncos were definitely, because the Broncos I think they were they were top 5 against the run, against the pass. I mean, they got some studs at corner. So Phil disagrees. But I do think that I wouldn't say they're the favorite, huh?
I might have to disagree too. I mean, you still got Buffalo in the AFC. You still got the Chiefs,
but now you got Aaron Rodgers.
You've been huge on the Titans. You still got the Titans out there. Like, I mean, you still got Cincinnati. I mean, they're not going anywhere. I personally, I would start looking around the NFC and saying, all right, I have a legitimate shot, especially with Tom Brady. If he doesn't come back. And I mean, the Rams, they won the Super Bowl, but if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm not necessarily looking at them like I can't beat them. You know what I mean? I take my chances against Matthew Stafford than all those young guns that the AFC has.
Nah, I mean, as a competitor, I honestly don't think that it matters. I think that Aaron Rodgers is saying to himself, like, I'm Aaron Rodgers. He's just that cocky to say, yo, I'm Aaron Rodgers. Don't none of them. Aaron Rodgers has a Super Bowl, and what's his name got 1 Super Bowl. So I don't think that is that far fetched to see him go to the Broncos and post this, and I definitely disagree here. If I'm the Packers, I'm not asking for a receiver and some picks for Aaron. Are you crazy? Like, no, give me, because clearly Jordan Love isn't the guy, because they're not forcing Aaron Rodgers out. So I'll bring in another. I'll get Drew Lock so they could compete. And with a ton of picks, they're not gonna trade for it. And I don't believe. So here's the thing: they definitely won't be third in that division. So you add Aaron Rodgers and saying, and you saying that there are two other better teams in that division? No. Who? Where?
Well, I mean, you can't discredit the LA Chargers. I mean, what they're doing down there. I mean, it's a fair assessment. I mean, I like my chances with Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, you don't know if people get injured. Football changes so fast.
Absolutely. But we're going off the assumption of no injuries.
Yeah. I mean, you got the Raiders in that division.
There'll be good games. I don't think that there's a worry there.
They're a playoff team. I mean, and then you got the Chiefs. I mean, it's a tougher division than what Tom Brady walked into. I'll say
that. Absolutely. Nah, I agree. And so here's the thing: in the NFC, you got the whole NFC West, right? Like that's probably the best division in football. You got that whole division. Then you still got I mean, Dallas aren't slouches. And now in the NFC South, it's a little shaky. NFC South is going if Atlanta doesn't win that division going away next year, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because the Saints got cap problems, the Panthers are the Panthers. Now the Bucks, depending on who, I mean, they saying they're gonna give that Trask a shot to be the starting QB, but and they're probably gonna lose because they don't got no Antonio Brown, no Gronk. We don't know what Godwin might not even be. Well, Godwin will be there. So, but you're losing a lot of pieces. You may not have Fournette. So you're losing a lot of pieces. I honestly think that the Falcons will be the favorites. So yeah, if you got to choose a conference to get an easier road to the Super Bowl, I would definitely take the NFC. But to go to a team that makes a lot of sense where you still got a shot to win, I mean, you got the damn Broncos. But I'll say this: to all of that we just said, I don't think he's leaving. I think he's gonna stay in Green Bay. I think he's gonna stay in Green Bay, and it's gonna be what it is. It ain't even gonna matter because life just seems. I mean, that's a talented roster. Like you go 13-3 3 years in a row. That ain't something you just leave. And they ain't not like they was losing pieces. I wouldn't be surprised again if they go get a not sure if it's gonna happen, but yeah, try your luck and get Calvin Ridley and see what happens.
No, you're right.
But to continue with we didn't get a chance to talk about it because we've been gone. Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. I've been wanting to ask you this for like a week now. It's a two-part question. One, how do you feel about Kyler Murray, posting all of those things? And the other question is, do you think that he was wrong in doing those things?
I think he feels slighted. I mean, I saw that where he unfollowed him. He definitely wants to get paid. So here's the thing with Kyler Murray. I am a fan. I think that he's the next guy. Is he worth $45 million? Not yet. He hasn't proven to win the big one yet. that Arizona team. So this is where I do agree with him on. Um, I would be pretty ticked off if my GM and head coach got an extension and I wasn't going to get paid. I think all three of them are in the same boat to where they had a good season.
Mhm.
They improved the Cardinals, but it was one season. They started off hot, and toward the end of the season, they started to fall, and people started to remember that, oh, yeah, it is Arizona, and they've got to shake that name off. I mean, they've got to shake that reputation off of them. So I don't see it as being urgent to give Kyler Murray the bag, nor did I see it was urgent to extend their coach for another 5 years and extend their GM for another 5 years.
So I would definitely be annoyed if I was. I think they did that on purpose. But again, it's easy to extend the coach than it is a player. So they're like pretty much tied at the hip right now, and so I don't have a problem with him doing anything that he did. I know there's other people that have a problem with it. Now, my thing is year 3, right? And I understand we're in this microwave world right now where if you don't win in year 1 or year 2, get rid of them, get them out of there. And I think that's it's not really a good look because we gotta look at the team that he went to, right? If I'm not mistaken, the year before he got there, he only won 3 games. And won more than that his rookie year. I mean, he's won 5, 8, 11. And so, one, without this quarterback, you clearly are not an 11-win team. Year he got hurt and they fell back to earth a little bit. But again, a lot of your success the last couple years, because let's be honest, they were, when they weren't winning, they were still a scrappy bunch. It wasn't like they was just, getting blown out every week, and they were still a scrappy bunch. So he's clearly changed the culture, and just like you said, with the coach and the GM. So does he deserve? The market is $40 million. He's going to get the market. He's going to get paid. I think that it was his first playoff game, and I thought it was a total overreaction for them losing. I think that it happens. Like everybody ain't gonna be they're not gonna have a Joe Burrow type playoff run their first time in the playoffs. A lot of times, most starting quarterbacks that in their first playoff game lose. Like, I mean, it's proven. I mean, you think of anybody. Most quarterbacks in their first playoff game, most starters lose their first playoff game. So
he's in a unique situation, though, right? So you got Russell Wilson, right? Russell Wilson had success first, then got paid. And then and I'm comparing him to Russell Wilson just because they're relatively like the same height, right? And he's proven at his height that he could play the quarterback position, but that's a stigma that he still has to overcome. The league just really, I'm not going to say they don't like short quarterbacks, but
they don't like short quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's not always, it's always going to be that stigma on him. So I always feel like short quarterbacks have to work a little bit harder than other quarterbacks. And I use Drew Brees as an example, right? It took Drew Brees a while, even when he had success with the Chargers. Then he was a free agent. I mean, only 2 teams really wanted him, with Miami and New Orleans, and then he goes down there and he has a bunch of success. But for a guy that's 5'9" to be demanding that money, whether he deserves it or not, he's fighting an uphill battle with that. And I think it's going to be it. You don't think he's fighting the uphill battle?
He was the number 1 pick, and he's been successful since he's been in the league.
He was the number 1 pick, and he's been successful. But people are always going to look to make excuses to why short quarterbacks can't get paid. they've already put the stigma on him that he's got leadership issues, right?
And so I don't
And what
believe.
does that mean?
Real quick, I don't believe that because when it comes for because those leadership issues only came out when he unfollowed the team on social media. That's when it came out.
But again, what does that really mean, right? Is okay because obviously you want your quarterback to be a leader, but there's different types of leaders, and
Absolutely.
it's like if you're that good and you've got all these like players and you got all these coaches and you got all that, how much is leadership at the quarterback? Like do we overhype that? Like that you have to be
I
the
mean, you
Drew
take
Brees or you
when,
have to be the Tom Brady type leader to be a successful quarterback.
no, yeah, I don't think you have to. I mean, you need to be a leader, but do you have to be Tom Brady or Drew Brees to be successful? I don't think that's the case. I mean, he's in his third year, right? He's in his third year, and people are expecting him to be Drew Brees or Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, and it's to me it's just weird, man. It's weird, and I just I don't understand it, yo. I don't get it. I think that right now people are looking. People are to me feel like people are taking the side of the team over because you haven't heard a teammate, not one teammate, say something bad about Kyler Murray. One teammate, no ex teammates, nobody. I mean, so when the team is doing it, when they got to pay somebody, we've seen this over and over and over again. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think just the reality of what's the reality of football or the state of the football is we're going to see a lot more quarterbacks just flexing. I mean, they're going to want to get paid. They're going to demand to get paid. And you brought up a point that I didn't even think about. If the shoe was on the other foot, the team would be trying to get rid of him after year 3.
Absolutely.
So you do to an extent have to demand your money when it's there because next season if he gets hurt, then we're going to see, I guess, similar to what's going on with Baker Mayfield, to where it's like, yeah, he turned the franchise around, but he's not the guy, and maybe we'll move on.
And even there, that baffles me, right? Because here's the thing, Cleveland for decades has been terrible. They've been terrible. They finally got a good quarterback. I'm not going to say he's great. I'm not going to say he's bad. I'll say they got a good quarterback. And now they're trying to run him out of town. And it's crazy. To me, it's crazy. And I know it's because of the money thing, right? I know it's a money thing, but
you know what it is, and I'll say I'm guilty of this too. A lot of people see a quarterback's limitations opposed to what they do well. So when we compare a quarterback, we're comparing them to the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes, the just the elite of the elite, right? So we watch how the Josh Allens are going to throw 4 touchdowns, throw for 400 yards. It doesn't matter if they're down; they still have a shot. Or we're watching Joe Burrow to where his defense is maybe not playing up to par, but as long as he gets the ball, he can go down the field and he can make something happen. But then you have the quarterback that they just manage the game, or they do what the team asked them to do, or maybe they're not playing in the right offense. And you look at their numbers and you say, this guy had 220 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and it looked like it was a check down type deal, but the team won. And we don't give that as much credit as this guy threw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. The team lost, but it wasn't his fault that the team lost. So I think our expectations as fans and what makes a good quarterback and our eyes has skewed what really is good quarterback play or the betterment of the team. Man, we talk about it all the time, and I get wrapped up in this. It's a difference between watching football from a fantasy perspective and
Mm-hmm.
watching football from legitimate. Okay, I understand what the game plan is. I understand what the team is doing. I understand why they're going about it the way they're going about it.
Right. No, no, and I definitely agree. I just it's just funny, man. It's like some of these franchises were just historically bad, and now it's like the guy you drafted that to help turn the team around has turned the team around, and now it's like well, whatever. Let's move on and find someone else. But I get it, and we'll definitely continue to talk about it, watch it, and see how it all plays out. I don't think he's going to get his money this off season, but I do think that he will get his money. I don't think he's going to get franchised.
Well,
Um,
well, I think part of it too is the expectations we put on the coaches and the GMs.
mm-hmm.
A lot of times you don't want to be tied to that guy, especially like if you didn't draft him and you don't believe in him.
Right.
You don't want to say, okay, let me throw this guy a whole bunch of money. I can't get rid of him. You're it's like a lot of GMs and a lot of coaches go in there with their exit plan to be successful. And what I mean by that is they go in and say, all right, this ain't the quarterback that I wanted. So you got to give me a year grace period because this is not the quarterback for my offense. So you're going to throw that quarterback under the bus to bring in your guy. Well, maybe
Yeah,
you
but
bring
I
in
mean,
somebody. Go ahead.
no, no, I'm saying, but that quarterback, in the sense of Kyler Murray, um, that's the coach is he literally got that job because of Kyler Murray.
Right, but okay, so let's look at him though, right? He
Mm-hmm.
starts to see things and he starts to believe that maybe if I had a different guy, I could do better with my offense. I doubt it. I doubt that that's the scenario with him. But some of these coaches, man, and GMs, they kind of get in their way too, of thinking that my system or my scheme or the way that I do things is the reason why this person's successful. I could just
Right.
bring in whoever to do it. I don't have to pay this person all this money when in fact they're the ones that's making your scheme a little bit better. So
Right.
it could be some of that going down in Arizona, and maybe that's why Kyler Murray is taking the angle that he's taking.
Yeah, they definitely blamed him for the loss. And he didn't play well. I mean, but there was plenty of blame to go around. I guess when you're the quarterback, you gotta take the good with the bad. But all right, let's get into the winner of the week.
All right.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right. So my winner of the week this week is Phil Mickelson. I don't know if you guys have been following what's been going on in golf, but long story short, golf is trying to set up a rival league. It's called the Saudi League, and pretty much they're going to make a play for a lot of the top golfers that play on the PGA Tour. So your guy Phil Mickelson, I'm going to read it. When he was interviewed about the league, he said, "We know they killed Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi, and they have a horrible record of human rights. They execute people over there for being gay." He said, "Knowing all this, why would I even consider it? Because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to reshape the PGA Tour and how it operates." So this is how he's referring to the people that are funding the league that are making a play for him. And he went in the interview to say all this. Needless to say, he lost a ton of sponsorships, lost a lot of money, and it was just like, Phil, man, you got to be a little bit smarter, man. You you got to be a little bit better, man. What were you thinking, man? you know, it's just it was just mind boggling, and I don't know, man. What are your thoughts?
I think that might be a case of when keeping it real goes wrong.
Even the real goes wrong.
I mean, because I mean, you gotta know, you gotta kind of know this is the temperature that we're in right now, how society is right now. I mean, he like things that he said, he could have got away with that maybe like 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But now, man, he might be. I ain't gonna say he's done, but
He'll recover with time. And I mean, Phil Mickelson, if you look at history, like he's got a track record for just saying the wrong thing.
absolutely.
I kind of I compare like Phil Mickelson to Clyde Drexler, right? And if you don't know, Clyde Drexler is the same way. He's just got a track record of just saying the wrong things at the wrong time. So they're like in the same boat. And eventually, like you forget because it's like, yeah, Phil Mickelson, he's easily the second best golfer of all time. And you know, he's that guy.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that.
You put him under Tiger Woods.
It's not better than Arnold Palmer or any of those other old type. Man, he probably in his era.
I'm gonna do you one solid, right? I'm gonna take that statement back because I don't know enough golf statistics to debate you or argue with you on that.
I can tell you what, you don't need to have a lot of knowledge to know that he ain't the second best ever.
Hey, Phil Mickelson. Oh, okay. So where do you put Phil Mickelson? He's up there.
Yeah, are we about to really have a top 5 golfers of all time? Okay, you got Tiger Woods. I think Tiger Woods is the greatest. You got Jack Nicklaus. You got Arnold.
Okay, I was tripping. That's 2 right there. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Phil Mickelson somewhere around there.
No, because even he might be popular. I don't even. Does Phil Mickelson even have a video game?
Yo, Phil Mickelson got to be in the top 10 golfers of all time. He's got to be.
Listen, you're not maybe top 10 because I'd be hard pressed to tell you to name 10 golfers. I could, but I ain't about to do that.
No, I ain't gonna sit here and lie and just make a whole bunch of stats up just to sound smarter wherever. But Phil Mickelson's got to be a top 10 golfer. If I'm tripping,
Tiger Woods used to mind screw that dude like crazy every tournament.
Yeah, it's Tiger Woods.
So I'll say this. Well, forget all that. I got a question for you.
Still took a shot at him yesterday. Tiger Woods still took a shot at him, man.
So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Because you brought up Clyde Drexler. I did you happen to talk Clyde Drexler off a ledge? Because word on the street is that you are like the basketball whisperer. You're like a sports therapist for basketball players. And I just wanted to know.
No, I talked to Robert Horry.
Yeah, I know, but you know what?
I didn't
know that story. Hey, Scott, you gotta tell that story real quick before we get into the Lakers. He is a former Laker. And the reason why I bring that up is because I think the Lakers need a sports therapist, and you might be the guy. So tell people about this.
I ain't telling nobody about that Robert Horry story. I just know that Big Shot Bob, he's not watching the show, but he's somewhere and he owes me. He owes me, man. He's going to end it.
Absolutely.
He's going to end it. And I personally saved his life. He was shocked and appalled that I knew any of his basketball stats. I mean, he's down and out. And I definitely reminded him that, hey, man, you had some significance to your career. But
let's get some horns for Scotty. Hold on one second.
I get some horns for that. You know, that was almost 20 years ago when I saved Robert Horry's life.
All right, one day we are gonna get that story. You know what? We're gonna get that story when we in person,
It's only a few people in the world that know that story.
I'm one of them. And that story is hilarious. But let's talk Lakers, man. Lakers, I didn't even really want to talk Lakers, but we got to. I don't think we got a choice because coming into this season, I didn't think that they were going to be like the best team in the league, but I didn't think they were going to be a ninth seed in the West and like 6-7 games under 500. What? So right now they just took a slug last night. Again, I watched that game. LeBron played again. I mean, LeBron was LeBron, but some of his defense, and I'm not gonna trash LeBron for his defense because I mean he got to do everything else. He got to do everything else.
Man was playing center.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, right now the Lakers are in a ninth seed, and I think they're the ninth seed, kind of like by default. Like they're pretty bad, man. They're 7 games under 500. I think they lost 3 in a row. Where do they go from here? What's going to happen? What do they do? And they're only 2 games up on the Pelicans for that 10th spot, and Portland is in 11th, and they they're only 2 games up on Portland.
Well, I think the reality of it is they thought that if they could get everybody back healthy, they'll figure it out. And I think the reality is sinking into everybody that knows anything about basketball is they've got an uphill battle to climb.
Absolutely.
I would never count LeBron James out. I think that he's going to do whatever he can to prepare his team. I think when Anthony Davis comes back, he's going to be a nice addition. But it's really Russell Westbrook. My God. It is. I mean, last night was terrible. I mean, Carmelo Anthony is even finding like ways to score, but it's really Russell Westbrook. It is on Russell Westbrook to figure out how to contribute more to this team. And the ironic part about it is the Lakers should have figured out a way to get rid of Russell Westbrook at the trade deadline. I don't believe nobody was going to take him. But
I think Houston would have.
You think Houston would have took him back
for John Wall to get rid of that damn contract?
So who's a better fit though, John Wall or Russell Westbrook?
So at this moment, I don't know what John Wall could do, but I think John Wall could probably be a piece. I mean, I don't think they need him. I don't think they need him to score 20 a game, right? But John Wall, see, it's hard with John Wall because you don't know how healthy he is.
So that's the thing with John Wall, right? I think that he could string together really good games, and he's still got a lot to offer. He just doesn't play all the time, and that was one of the problems that he ran into in Houston. Is like, yeah, when he's on the court, he's really good, but he might as well be unvaccinated. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get him the entire time. I mean, yeah, it's like getting a poor man's Kyrie. If you get him, at least Russell Westbrook, the one thing I can say about him is he's out there every day.
He is out there every day.
He's out there every day. And he's starting to limit his turnovers. Like last night, he didn't have any turnovers. He had a terrible game, but he didn't have any turnovers.
Yeah, I think he scored 12 points last night. I mean, yeah. So they should have tried to get rid of Russell Westbrook during the trade deadline. But do you agree with with management saying, y'all figure it out? Because ultimately that's what they said. It was like, this is what y'all wanted, so y'all figure it out.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. And I think a lot of people, and LeBron doesn't like it. It's his way of being accountable. It's like, these are the guys that you wanted, right? These are the guys you asked us to go pick up. You think that you're running the team, you're running the show. We've given you everything that you want, Figure it out.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like LeBron James, but at a certain point, he's got to be accountable a little bit, right? So every year we kind of see the same thing, right? If he's got his players intact, he's good to go. But when those teams, and I'm talking about the last 10 year of LeBron, I'm not talking about the LeBron that was in Cleveland that did his time with those sorry teams. But when those teams don't work out exactly how he wants them to, he's the first one in that front office saying, hey, you got to get rid of this guy. You got to get me some pieces. And you got to get rid of that guy. And you've got to mortgage your future and stuff. And the reality, people are starting to really question how much longer do you really have the LeBron James that we know? Like, I think he'll be good to go this season, but you start to look a year or two down the road, is he going to be able to bring the Lakers back to that championship caliber team that we know them for? And the answer to that is he's got this year, possibly next year, and then after that, like, he's going to need a lot more help. But if you got all these old people that he's recruited and all his cronies and stuff like that, it's going to be tougher for that team to get young. And I've been hearing reports and I've been reading reports that he's thinking about after either this season or next season, possibly going back to Cleveland. So
I don't believe that one. I think that was because that happened during the All-Star break, and I think that was more of a I need to figure something out. I need to get us some help here, or I'm out type stuff. But I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going back to Cleveland. That would be crazy.
Look, if they bounce the first round and he comes back next year and his roster is somewhat similar to what it is now, my man's is out.
Absolutely.
And I can't blame him, because his whole thing is like, look, I'm the king. I'm going to bring this level of play to your city. You've got to figure out how to get me the pieces that I need, and I'll figure out how to deliver championships. LeBron James is not going to continue to play in the play-in tournament for his legacy. He's not going to do it. So
then they just played in the play-in last year, right? They played in the
play-in. They're going to play in the play-in this year.
Yeah, they definitely going to be in the play-in this year. It ain't no. I mean, to get to 6, they're freaking 9 games out of. So they're going to be in the play-in.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they kind of locked. They're almost locked in at 9. I mean, because they're what, 6 games behind the Clippers.
And to be honest, okay, so they get to the play-in, right? But do people really see them beating the Warriors or beating the Suns or beating Utah? Or, I mean, Memphis is not going to be first, but I think you said it the other day. I mean, Morant, my God, man. I mean that guy is out there. What you say, cooking?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's. I mean, he's that guy. I mean, if people don't think he's a superstar now, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean,
he has took leaps and bounds from where he was last year. I mean, last year he was balling now, but you're right. Right now, the way that he's playing and the way that the Grizzlies are responding to him, I mean, he's playing great basketball.
And they're 3rd in the West.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, right? So James Harden, he debuts at home tonight. We saw him against the Timberwolves and my Knicks. That was an ugly loss. What are your thoughts on the 76ers?
They're gonna be a tough out if Harden and Embiid are clicking like this and they get into the playoffs and they because right now they're just playing basketball. They don't even know whatever. They're just playing. And if they get it clicked and everybody else around them, the East is in trouble. And the East is tough. The East is tough this year. But if they, boy, I mean, that's going to be a duo. It's going to be tough to stop. I mean, it's going to be tough to stop because to me, it looks like Harden is a teammate Embiid always wanted but never had. And I mean, and it's like, oh boy. And
he makes the game easier.
Yeah, and Harden even looks like he has a little extra bounce in his step right now. It's weird. And I feel like those reports that came out after he got traded lit some sort of fire if he needed a fire lit. I think that those comments saying that when they was talking about in practice, Kyrie said he was washed and all of that, which I didn't think that was the case. I mean, I think that probably happened because, I mean, it's trash talk when you in practice. I don't even think Kyrie meant that, John. But I don't know. I'm not Kyrie, but
I think Kyrie absolutely meant that joint. I mean, so here's the thing. He looks like he's lost some weight, and he also he took a while off. I mean, we started getting the reports that he was probably going to be traded around Christmas time. He was out for, I mean, an extended amount of games, and I think some of that was, he was hurt, but some of it was he knew he wasn't going to play with the Nets anymore.
And you're probably right. You're probably right. I mean, yeah.
So where did the Nets go, right? So we still haven't seen Ben Simmons. They're sitting at 8th in the East, and we got a part-time player with Kyrie Irving.
Which may change. And we'll talk about that a lot more like next week. But I think that's gonna end up changing soon. That mandate. I mean, it's stupid anyway. But because we brought it up before, like how could Bradley Beal is vaccinated now, but how could Bradley Beal play in New York because he's a visitor, but Kyrie can't? We talked about that before, and it's just dumb. But I think that mandate is going to change in the next few weeks or whatever. But it's funny that a lot of people had Lakers Nets in the championship, and they both probably going to be in the pool. But I think that the Nets, huh?
Let me ask you this: you're having a tough time with this. I know you are. Your Heat are first, and your Bulls are second. Who's coming out the East? If you had to pick between those two.
You ain't, it's not time to go yet. It's not time. Nah,
it's in there. Get close.
I would say no. All jokes aside, if you had to choose between those two teams, damn, I would say it'll go 7. No, it'll go 7, but I think that the Heat would in the 7-game series against the Bulls for the Eastern Conference Championship. I think that the Heat will win, mainly because they have the experience. A lot of those guys either played in the finals or played deep in the playoffs. You got Jimmy Butler played in the finals. Butler and Bam played in the finals. Won a championship. The point guard. You got the other guy that won a championship. He just won a championship last year. PJ Tucker. So you got a bunch of guys on that team that's made deep playoff runs, and with the Bulls, you don't have that much. You don't have that much championship experience. So I think that will play a part. But both teams fully healthy, that series is going 7, and I just be sitting back enjoying life because I don't lose in that situation.
You can't lose.
I don't lose in that situation. But I do think that the Heat would win barely in the 7-game series between those two. Now I tell you what I don't hear a lot of people talking about are the Bucks, and I think people better watch out. And I think that when Durant comes back and Ben Simmons plays, I'm really interested to see how that turns out. But no,
it's an exciting second half of basketball. I mean, it's a lot of storylines, and everybody's going to be ready to tune in. I mean, basketball is on Sundays now, and everybody got their full attention on it. So,
and you know what's crazy? Not so long ago, people were saying that the East was weak. Ain't nobody saying that now. The East ain't weak. The East is not weak. I mean, you got a team that is the 8th seed that has the best. They have the best odds to win the championship in the league. The team that's the 8th seed, they have the best odds right now to win the championship.
If we can get them all on the court at the same time, that's the only caveat. They have a really good team on paper, but it's just all about are they going to ever play together? I mean, it was the same thing when they had Harden. It was like they played 10 games in 2 seasons. Well, a season and a half. 10 games together. That's it.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, we'll see. But have you changed any of your picks for who's come out the East or the West?
Daily. Daily. No, because you start watching these teams, and I mean, right now it's a lot of young talent just across the board and with a lot of teams, and it feels like every game I'm watching, it's like, dang, who's that? Or like, who's this? So it's real tough with COVID and a lot of the injuries and a lot of just everything that's going on with basketball, the outside of the top tier teams, to really see like, okay, who's going to be the Cinderella team this year to like take everybody by storm.
All right, one last question before we get up out of here. Who do you have as your MVP?
MVP this year?
Right now, yeah.
Right now, I'm looking at Joel Embiid. I mean, he looks unstoppable.
What about DeRozan? You don't have DeRozan in the conversation or no?
I think he definitely should be in the conversation. I just don't know if he's having the better season than Embiid.
What about Giannis? Giannis is Giannis, yo. He's been consistent. He hasn't done anything different. And I mean,
so here's my thing on Giannis, right? And obviously he's there too. I just don't think his play, because he's been hurt. He's been hurt a little banged up this year, right? I mean, when he's on, he's on. But I don't know if he's having, statistically, he might be having this same like type of season as Embiid. But when I watch Embiid, I'm just kind of like, yes, it's him. And I don't know if anybody put this in the consideration. I watch Embiid. Curry is just cooking as usual over there in Golden State. I mean, that guy is he's always got to be in the conversation for MVP.
Yeah, but I think that he had a little slump type in the season, and I think that kind of like screwed up his chances of winning MVP. But unfortunately, LeBron should be there, but his team stinks, so he won't be there. So, all right, man, I think it was a good week back, or a good day back.
Absolutely.
We'll be back next week. Next week is going to be a little different show. Actually, my daughter Janaya is going to make her college selection on the show. We're gonna find out.
We're gonna see it, man.
We're gonna find out where she's going. I don't even know, which is crazy. but we're gonna find out. I think we will all find out, and then we'll congratulate her, and then she got his work to do. So, but yeah, man. I guess it's time to get out of here.
Yeah, it's battleground time.
It's battleground time. So, all right, man. It's Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B.
We out of here.
Peace.
We off the record. Anthony Adebayo. We off the
record. With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo. And the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5. We off the record.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year comes back and says,